Reddit 4 months ago. My husband wanted a divorce until he lost his job. Am I the A to follow through with filing? My husband is 34 years old and I am a 38-year-old female. We've been married for 6 years, together for nine. We have had our ups and downs, but the biggest down is how he speaks to me. I just had our son 1 year ago. When I was 10 months postpartum, he was telling me I'm fat and lazy, and all I do is take care of the baby and work. As I still had baby weight on, navigating new routines, work, and caring for our baby and four other children while working 40 hours a week. On my birthday, he demanded I not leave the house or he would divorce me. Just so happened, my daughter had an appointment at UCLA for her teeth the morning of my birthday. So I took her to her doctor's appointment at UCLA. Needless to say, he didn't even say hello to me and slept in his game room. He has been sleeping there for the past 2 months. He told everyone he was divorcing me, spoke to an attorney and everything before telling me he wanted a divorce. He told me I was not the prize. I'm almost 40 and have four kids, three who are minors. He says he's the prize. He's in his prime and makes good money. And any woman would love to be in my shoes and take care of his kids. He even went as far as inviting his baby mother into the house to visit while I was out. Fast forward, he loses his job and telling me to wait to move out. He then starts talking nicer towards me and acting differently than he did before. I told him I'm still moving out and going forward, we're separating because his actions did not align with someone who wanted to be with me. It feels more like I'm his only option at the moment. Now he's going around saying I'm a gold digger and leave as soon as he loses his job. He's saying he wanted to try to make it work, but I am the one choosing to leave to all his family and friends. So am I the for following through with what he initiated even after he lost his job? I don't even know where to start with this, but I'm going to try. Happy Monday morning, everyone. There will be a lot of double uploads when I'm on vacation. It's just something I like to do. TikToks run in the evening and usually news articles and stuff like that run in the morning. Can't guarantee it'll be every day, but it'll be a lot of the days. So thank you for joining me on this Monday morning as we look at Reddit stories. As you know, I delve deep into these for the first time with you. I really only look at the length, the title, kind of make sure that I have the general gist of the story, but I don't deep dive into it with my thoughts. I could only give you my um, commentary based on my experience. All right. So, first off, they've already got four kids. Now, I was a little bit confused here because he said he even let his baby mama in. I was thinking that all these four kids are his. I'm thinking they are, but maybe he has someone else. Yeah, it says, and he's telling me he wants a divorce. I'm almost 40 and have four kids, three who are minors. So I'm assuming those are his kids. Okay. But either way, this lady's got five kids now on her plate, and this is just 4 months ago. That's with the newborn. It is my experience being divorced myself, and I am not a bitter person. And I think if you're familiar with this channel, I really defend men, okay? But I do like to keep things real. It is my experience that when someone says to you, I want a divorce, whether that divorce happens immediately or whether it happens down the road, and this can include counseling and everything else, it is my experience that the divorce usually happens. And if the divorce does not happen, then it is my experience that someone in the relationship, if not both parties, is utterly miserable. Yeah, we stayed together for, 60 years, but we're absolutely miserable and we prefer it when we, aren't at home with the other person. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. But here, okay, the title, my husband wanted a divorce until he lost his job. I would absolutely today get divorced. Not out of spite. It's not for that, but it's just my 58-year-old self knows that once you are able to utter the words, I want to divorce you, it took some time to get to that point. Now, maybe for some people it takes years. Maybe for some people it takes just a few months. Okay. Oh, gee, I didn't know you had, $75,000 student loan debt and we were getting ready to sign, on our new house. That's what I'm thinking of. But when somebody says to you in a relationship at any point, I think we should see other people. There's your sign. I really think we need to get a divorce. I think we need to split. All of those things, my 58-year-old self today, the relationship is done. No hate. I'm going to let you go. Okay. I ain't going to stalk it. I don't play that stuff. I'm going to let you go because you have just voiced to me what it is you deep down really, really want. And it is not my life's work or my life's goal to make it my life's work to get you to change your mind. I did that once. And that's when, before I got divorced. And, it may sound kind of pathetic, but of course, you beg someone to stay and like, please stay. But the bottom line is they don't want to be with you. They don't want to be there anymore. Let them go. And it doesn't matter what life circumstances happened before, during, or after they've said it. Life happens anyways. Parents pass away. Kids get sick. Jobs get lost. Right? Your business goes south. Whatever. It makes no difference. It's not like if you stick around with them after someone has told you they want a divorce, that all of a sudden everything's going to be just fine because you stuck around with somebody who just told you they don't want to be with you anymore. And the idea that somebody would tell me, I don't want to be with you anymore, and I'm strapped with your fifth kid. I'm assuming these are all his kids. Okay. And I'm strapped with the five kids. Being with somebody who doesn't want to be with you is worse. I mean, you're already strapped with five kids because that's a choice the Redder made. Wink, wink. All right. That's a personal decision. But to make that decision and then to top it with somebody who already has told you they don't want to be with you, well, that's just pouring salt into the wound. So you might as well, get rid of 150 pounds of weight, 200 pounds, 300, whatever. Okay. Whatever he weighs. All right. And call it done. I completely agree that she should follow through with the divorce. And here's the other reason. Eventually, when he gets back on his feet, guess what he's going to do? Yeah, you said it. He's just going to leave anyways. Drink. I'm in my gym outfit. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. You see? And I think the one thing that I am most regretful of, if I look back when my ex told me that he wanted to leave, was that I fought so hard to try to keep the marriage together. And I know millions of people have done the same thing that I did. But you know what? When I look back on it, if I had to do it again, you want to leave? There's the door. I want you to find your best happiness. And if your best happiness is not with me, no matter what I can offer you, then you, as an individual person, you have the right to go find someone that makes you happy. Does that person make you happier? I don't know, and I don't care. But what I do care about is that I was enough of a lady and I was gracious enough to say, okay, you don't want to be here anymore. Go. And that's what I did after begging and pleading for him not to please leave. But, we all go through that. Would I go put myself through that again? No. If somebody says to me, Carrie, I really just don't feel it with you, bye. As a matter of fact, I'll be honest, I wouldn't even ask you why. Why would I not ask you why? Because it doesn't matter. See, that's called maturity. I would not ask you why you wanted to leave. I would just say, you're free to go. But I'm keeping my YouTube channel with me and the subscribers that come with it. But really, I wouldn't even ask you why. I know it seems kind of weird because to me, the whys don't matter. The whys is kind of like, oh my gosh, I feel so bruised. I need to have a reason as to why you're leaving me so that perhaps I can refute it. But the problem is I'm not going to refute nothing. In other words, it's not that I don't want to fight for you. It's not that I don't want you to stay with me. It's the fact that I like to think of myself on a slightly higher plane, and I realize that I cannot and may not be the right person for someone. And so it's very selfish of me to sit and deny you through guilt, shame, whatever. And I don't play that game. I don't destroy things. I don't go out and, tell all your friends in town. That is such immature crap. And ladies, if some of you are into doing that, you need to get off it. Okay. Because it makes you just look more stupid than the person who's leaving you. In fact, it makes you look like the crazy one. And everybody goes, yeah, I see why he left. Or yeah, I understand why she walked out on that relationship. You see? So you always want to go with your head up high. So what she did, this whole Redditor, what she did was she actually allowed herself to keep her head up high. Yeah, her to be ex, again, this is 4 months ago, is trying to gaslight her. But do you think he's telling his family, hey, I've treated her like crap for a while and I already told her I was out? Oh, no, no, he didn't tell her family that. I guarantee it to you. And he didn't tell his family that either. See, this is why you have to have the whole story. But really, she did herself a favor. Instead of allowing him to stick around until he got back on his feet so he could dump her again with a formal divorce, she said, no, I hear you. You told me what you wanted. I'm going to give it to you. And for me, I've never gone back to a relationship that has ended ever, because my belief is once we've hit the bottom of the barrel, um, yes, there is a way back up, but I ain't going back up with you. You took my oxygen mask, so now I got to put on another oxygen mask, and I need to find my way up and out. I will be honest, my divorce was the most emotionally painful thing I've ever been through. Okay, it really, really was. But you didn't see me on TikTok begging and crying and whining about it, right? But it did teach me, if I had to do it all over again, he told me more than once he wanted a divorce. It was a couple years apart. See, that's why this is where I get my position from. Why I like to tell you a little bit about my experience. So you don't think I'm just pulling up an answer, just basing it on what I've gone through. And I remember the first time he told me, I was just in shock. It's like we had just moved to Florida, we had moved across the country, yada, yada. I was unsure of myself, which usually has a lot of why people don't want a divorce. They're either unsure of themselves emotionally and or financially, or they've got children, the whole nine yards. The list is endless. Medical, whatever. But you know what I've discovered? All of that stuff can and will be replaced if you allow it. But what cannot be replaced is how you feel about the way you reacted in a situation. And you look back on and go, oh my God, I wish I hadn't responded like that. Personally, I'm really proud of the way I responded. When, he said he wanted a divorce all the way through until we were divorced. Um, with me, now, I know this will be hard to believe, okay? You'll know I'm most upset when I don't talk. Like, I'll be honest, okay? For my YouTube audience, if a period of time ever went by, and you didn't hear from me, something's wrong. Now, I know, like, my gal pal, Susan and Jamie, they would know in 2 seconds, and they would probably give me, no, not would, they would call me, okay? So, like, if I just kinda, like, disappear from YouTube, something is wrong. I'm either really sick, I'm medically incapacitated, I've passed away or something. Because I'm a very social person, not a party girl. No, I like to be at home at night. I like to be in bed at 8 o'clock. I just do. All right. Well, usually I'm at the computer deck and then I go to bed. All right. But for me, when something's wrong, I get really, really quiet and I just kind of like don't say nothing. All right. But in my case with my divorce and stuff, I was able to keep my head up, and I regret no action of what I did except trying so hard to keep the marriage at first. And you kind of feel like you're willing to compromise everything, including your morals about you will compromise whatever it takes to keep them there. She didn't do that. See, what this Redder did was this Redder saved herself so much pain. She allowed herself she put the cards on the table in front of her versus giving the deck to someone else and saying shuffle. She took control of it. I know it's kind of long-winded, but you know the way this channel works, you guys, okay? So he lost his job. He would have left her, just like my ex left me. It was a few years apart. Okay. From the first time he said he wanted divorce to the next time he said he wanted it. And I regret deeply that I did not listen the first time he said it, because it would have changed everything in the way I responded. Instead of saying, no, no, please stay. But you know what you realize? Part of that no, no, please stay is your own fear, believing that you can't make it on your own, that you can't make it with your kids. You're not going to be able to, maintain your car because he's always done it. You're just sure the house is going to fall apart because he's always fixed it. You got that second income. The list goes on and on and on. It's all replaceable. What she's got here is a piece of crap husband. I'm sorry, she has 5 kids under her belt. That's her choice. Now she's got to own that responsibility and deal with it. But the way she's dealing with it by filing, 100% support it. All right, let's go to another story. Let's see. I lost 100K. I have to keep an eye on the time because I am going to the gym and then a girl's lunch. But the night is still young. Oh, wait, it's morning time. Oh my God. I'm so used to saying nighttime. What is it? It's about 10:30. So I'm good for about half an hour of chit chat. All right, let's take a look at this one 3 months ago. I lost, hold on, let me back this up here. Just a second here. Hold on. Um, because I always forget what it is that I'm looking at. So I'm going to take this and remove this from the saved. Let me refresh my screen. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Where'd it go? Oh, let's do this one. Just because I co-signed my ex's loans and need help getting off it. People, stop co-signing your loans with each other. Oh, and for those of you who are not used to this style, I love doing Reddit and news stories and stuff. It's really casual. So kick back, relax. All right. All right. So this is 19 days ago. I co-signed my ex's loans and need help getting off. Okay. So I don't use Reddit, but I don't have people in my life who have experience with this. So alas, I have made an account. Long story short, oh my God, on this channel, she can go long story longer. All right. Me and my ex lived together. So past tense. We lived together at the time and they were off and on working, mostly off. I was only making minimum wage, so I wasn't able to support both my ex and I. They got some additional school loans to help supplement my income, which I co-signed on. I know it was stupid, but I was naive enough to think we would be together forever. Okay. Now we broke up over a year ago and the interest is about to kick in on the loan since they graduated spring 2025. Excuse me. I called Sally May and they gave me the list of things they would need to be able to remove cosigners completely. One of which is the person has to have the history of 12 on-time payments. So the student has to have the history of 12 on-time payments with interest. So the grace period payments my ex has made don't count. So from what I understand, it's the wife or not the wife, but it's the girlfriend that became the co-signer to her boyfriend. See, sometimes they don't put the sexes in at the beginning, so I have to figure it out. I also asked if we could change the co-signer so that there's someone else on the loan, just not me, but the representative said that we can't change co-signers. My ex literally told me they won't be able to afford the loans when the interest kicks in. So I am freaking out. Is there another way I can remove myself or other creative solution? Or I have to wait the 12 months. What is the best way to go about this? I understand if I've screwed myself. I just want another perspective. All right. Very, very immature loan borrower. When I say immature, I mean just experience understanding what co-signing is. All the mistakes I've ever made, I've never co-signed and I never will. Okay. But this comment right here has really stuck out to me. I when I say I love this, I'm being sarcastic. I also asked if we could change the cosigner so that there is someone else on the loan. Who the bejesus else wants to go on your loan? Hey, a friend, Redditor friend, TikTok beggar, whatever. I have a loan that I co-signed for my boyfriend, and my boyfriend can't pay it. I can't afford it. And I was wondering, would you like to pick up co-signing on this loan for both of us? Sometimes we don't think about what we're saying. And I'm guilty of that too. As somebody did say to me once in a comment not too long ago, they said, it's very clear that I do not pre-write my scripts. No, this commentary channel is completely, it's just that. It is off the top of my head. All right. But sometimes we don't really think about what we're saying because we're so desperate to get out of the situation. We don't think about what we're saying or what we're doing. It's like people who want to get a shared home equity loan with some unscrupulous company that says, hey, you know what? We'll be happy to save you from your house because we know you're completely underwater. You're facing foreclosure and all of that. So just put us on the equity and you can give us 40% every single year of what the house is worth. Oh, yes, people do that. I did a story on that. I'll try to remember to link it at the end. I'm bad at remembering to link things, but I will try to remember that. But people do things in desperation, so we tend to ask things that just seem totally dumb to a certain extent. Can we change the co-signers? There's someone else on the loan. No, no, you can't, and nobody's going to want to join your loan, even if you could. What do we have here? I know it was stupid, but I was naive enough to think we would be together forever. This was only 19 days ago. People, young people, you got to start using the internet for something other than TikTok begging and taking selfies. Okay. You need to start using the internet for smart things, for things that can actually help you make a good decision. Something like, is it a smart idea to co sign on boyfriend student loan? And we don't even know how much the freaking loan is. Okay. You're going to get answers. It's like I tell my students, use the ability of the World Wide Web, if anyone actually calls it that, okay? Use the ability of the internet to help you avoid these type of pitfalls. Let's see here. They broke up over a year ago. The interest is about to kick in. Does anyone find that surprising? Oh, gee, I need to get through school and I need a naive young girlfriend to sign off. And she goes, oh, I'll do it. I'll do it. And then it's graduation time, spring 2025, and he's out. See, this is the way it works. Now, someone like me, and maybe even a smarter, younger person, I wasn't that bright in my, 20s. I was more mentally broken than I was bright. Okay. I got bright as I started navigating closer to 40. Okay. But let's see here. Has to have 12 on-time payments. He has to have 12 on-time payments. Y'all think he's going to care? No. And people can sit there and go, oh, but he should be worried about his credit score. People who use people financially for co-signing do not give a crap about their credit score, much less your credit score, because ultimately they know you will pay it. Always remember, folks, you are signing on the line as if it were your bill. And what always surprises me is when people do co-sign, and then when things go awry, the co-signer goes, I don't have the money. Well, then you should have co-signed to begin with. Or worse yet, you had the money at the time, and then through life's, unfortunate, strain of events, you don't have that money no more. See? So don't sign. I will not sign for anyone. And I have told you, and I will repeatedly tell you, you keep your power by not co-signing. Don't let anyone guilt you into, oh, well, gee, I'm your sister, brother, mom, dad. Oh, yeah, all those co-signers, they hit each other up. No, you maintain your power when you get to determine what you donate, when you donate, how often you donate. You become a co-signer, you have turned over your power. Would wonder, were you planning on buying that car, that house? Oh, you weren't. Were you planning on paying for that $1,500 cell phone? Oh, you weren't? Then why are you co-signing on it? See? Um, let's see here. My ex literally told me they won't be able to afford the loans when the interest kicks in. Let's use our brains here on that comment, okay? My ex told me they won't be able to afford the loans. Let us think. You co-signed for someone. Why? Because they did not have the money to begin with. And now you're shocked when the bill is due and they say to you, I don't have the money to begin with. You see? All the answers, all the red flags are there. I think co-signing, in fact, is one of the easiest things to avoid financially happening to you. You may not be able to avoid that double knee replacement like I'm going to have in a few years. You may not be able to avoid that broken arm, leg, whatever your kid got playing soccer. And off to the doctors you go, and there's a medical deductible bill. But one of the things that we can avoid is voluntarily putting ourselves into co-signing debt for other people's debt. Period. Don't do it. I don't care who it is. You will maintain your financial power by not turning it over to someone else. And you don't have to deal with the headache of your credit score going down. Always remember, everyone is your friend when they want a co-signer, and then all of a sudden they disappear. Always keep that in mind. Remove from saved. Let us refresh. Next story. Oh, let's do this one. My girlfriend of 3 years has a huge amount of student loan debt that she didn't tell me about. How are we doing on time, family? We are 24 minutes in. I have to leave shortly after 11. Ooh, I bet I could gab enough to fill the time in. Hey, I can laugh at myself, okay? All right, here we go. This is 6 days ago. I'm on top of it, family. Beverage. By the way, I'd like to give a shout out for those people who right now are listening to this on the road, because driving on the road is your job. Um, I am really glad you tuned into this channel. I know a couple of you have written to say that you do deliveries or your long haul or whatever, and I'm so glad you are here with me. So thank you so much. And that's specifically for the people who spend their day doing our deliveries, doing the long haul and all of that stuff. The world could not function without you. So thank you so much. All right. So here we go. 6 days ago, 31-year-old male. Girlfriend is 29 of 3 years, has a huge amount of student debt she didn't tell me about. Oh, here we go. My question is, how do I deal with this? We will leave out the expletive that is complimentary with it. All right. We have lived together for a year. My nose itches. And prior to that, she told me she had some debt, which she suggested was in the 60K range, but was admittedly not sure of the exact figure. Now we are approaching a second lease, and I really wanted to get to the bottom of the situation. So I asked her to find out how much student loan debt she was in. Turns out her total debt is $160,000. It's more than triple what she said it was. I, the Redditor, make 85,000 and I have less than $10,000 in total debt. She makes about 60,000. Oh, geez. I would like people older than me who have experienced something like this to help me understand what the ramifications are. I want to travel for a little while settling down and have kids. I want to buy a house. I want to retire someday. Is this debt possible to take down while keeping a happy and healthy relationship? Or am I signing up for a lifetime of resentment? Okay. This is the type of story that I absolutely love because it has all the goodies to talk about how if you want to make sure you retire broke, you are never able to afford a house. You can have kids, but you will struggle to afford them. I want to retire someday. Okay. All of this stuff, a happy, healthy relationship with someone who just lied to you about 3 times their student loan debt, with someone who has a house for you already. My condo was $100,000 in 2020. Yeah. And it's selling now for about 175, 70 respectively. So she comes with a condo that you can't live in. Yeah, she does. You see, what we have to do is we have to make sure, and this Redder is smart. Whoever this dude is, okay. What do I do? What do I do? I know you'll probably never hear this, but if you do, I want you to know that I think you're very smart. Why are you smart? Because you have not impregnated this woman out of wedlock, and I'm not being morally religious or anything here, okay? So just work with me for a second, okay? And now you're stuck with each other. And then you find out she has $160,000 student loan debt you didn't know about, but now you're the father to her kid. And there you go. Okay. So you are very smart to stop and go, whoa, wait a minute. Should I move forward? My answer is absolutely not. In fact, my answer is run in the other direction, not because of her debt. Believe it or not. Okay. 31 and 29. It's not because of her debt. It's because she hid it from you. She knew damn well she had more than $60,000. I'm sorry, you ain't no idiot. Oh, gee, I told you I had 60,000. Really, it's 160. No, these are not mistakes that are made. If she told she had 60 and was 80, I'd say, okay, let it go. 60 to 160,000. No, she is looking at a student loan payment of minimum $1,600 a month. Minimum, because you figure for every 1,000, approximately it's $1,000. So she's looking at 160,000. What you are going that okay. Let me pause here. I get so excited sometimes. Okay, her 85,000. I should in 2026, I will grow somewhere between 82 to 85,000 on YouTube. And my teaching job, I wish it was just YouTube, but it's YouTube and teaching job combined. I will gross right between 82 to 85. The numbers have already been done. So I know this for a fact. So he makes what I will be making in 2026. Okay. Now then, he has $10,000 in total debt. Give me, on the same income, give me a $160,000 student loan. No. And here's the thing. They can actually pay it off. She makes 60. Give me the 85, give me a partner that makes 60. Guess what, buddy? You are going to 100% support her while she pays off that $60,000 bill. Or excuse me, well, she pays off that $160,000 bill on her after taxes of the $60,000. You want to do that. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take a few years. And it could even take several years, depending upon how hard she struggles or tries to fight, okay? Living within a budget. And here's the kicker. It may never get paid off. You could theoretically, tell her, okay, honey, I'm going to marry you. I make enough. I make enough that I could support somebody. Okay. On 85,000, gross, right? I can support somebody else. I could easily do it. In fact. All right. Cause I have no debt. So he could support her. She, paying the student loan like she's supposed to. He checks it every month. And guess what she's doing in the background? She could be running up more money, or worse yet, he could support her. She pays off the student loan. He thinks finally 5 years have passed. All right. Because you're doing after tax dollars and he pays for everything. He marries her. And guess what? She's a spendthrift and they're right back in debt. In other words, when you align yourself with someone who cannot tell the truth about money, you cannot be in a relationship with them and then claim, oh, gee, I had no idea. I mean, she ran up another $30,000 and I thought we were on our, path to debt freedom to buy a house. How much grudge will you hold towards someone who lied to you? That's the big key. They lied to you about their student loan debt balance. And you're ready, you're ready to just help turn over all your income so they can pay off the debt. Oh, gee, a little hesitation on that. And I love this, guys. We got to be smart. You can't sit there and go, oh, I want to travel for a little and I want to have kids. I want to buy a house. With what money? She comes with a condo already. You need to pay off the condo. And something tells me, as someone who can lie, and again, we're not talking a little lie. This is a big, I have $160,000 lie. Okay. This is $100,000 more. Someone who can lie about that does not have your best financial interest in mind. And what do we see all the time in a lot of these stories, whether it be on Reddit, Ramsey, or whatever? Okay. What do we see? We see one person who's busting their ass off trying to get the couple to get retired, maybe, save for college, whatever. And then we got the other person going, digging up all, what is it? They're running up all this debt. And then they call on the Ramsey show going, oh, my husband thinks we can retire, but really I've got $85,000 in credit card debt he doesn't know about. Or worse yet, the person who thought they were retired, they call into the Ramsey show and they go, I was ready. What was that story that ran just like a month ago? Not even a month ago, I think, on this channel. And it was the guy who was ready to retire. He was to retire within 5 years and finds out his wife has run up a 6-figure debt. And now his retirement is pushed off to age 70. And he was due to retire, I think, in his 50s. Yeah, that sort of thing. This is the type of partner. When someone says, what is the blueprint that we have to make sure that we can never retire, to make sure that we're always broke, to make sure that we always have money fights, to make sure that we're always struggling to provide for our kids? This is the blueprint. This is one of many blueprints. I can point to you and say, there you go, marry her. That's the woman that will do it to you. 3 years together, a huge amount of student loan debt she didn't tell you about. There's a reason, because she don't respect you. She doesn't respect your work that you do as a man. She doesn't respect what you bring to the household. You don't need someone like that. This is the blueprint. Take it, crumble it, throw it away, walk away. Yeah. Okay. Next story. Do we have time? I'm looking. Ooh, I think we have time for one more story, you guys. Hey, you know what? Oh, and by the way, really quickly, guys, for those who are new, when I do the Ramsey reactions, for the most part, Ramsey takes the money. So when you see a Ramsey reaction, if I could beg you myself, just leave a thumbs up or a comment or something, because a lot of the times, most of the times, the Ramsey show does own the rights to it. And literally, when I do a Ramsey reaction, most of the time, it's just complimentary. And I like doing them, but sometimes, I can pre-run it and like every single one is copyrighted and it does take time to do those reactions. So every now and then I get lucky and I can find one that's not, copyrighted or whatnot, but it doesn't happen very often. So if you do see a Ramsey, just say hi or something, or you could do what one person does. I really hate your commentary. I get that too. Guys, if you don't like the commentary, I mean, then don't stick around and listen to it, or go to the quiet room on TikTok. There's a quiet room. If you're like, I just want to watch the TikToks all the way through and I don't want to listen to the commentary, the TikToks, and it was starting in 2025, so I've got a good backlog of them. There is no commentary. Just skip forward and go to the quiet room and you can hear it uninterrupted. All right, we have time for one more. Okay, let me refresh the screen. One more, and let's see here. Oh, wow, this one looks good. This one is back 4 years ago, but we're gonna listen to it. I mean, we're gonna listen to it. We're going to read it anyways. Let's see here, because I do have to leave on time. Let me check the length. It looks good. All right. We can always learn things from the past. 4 years ago, liable for $200,000 in excess student loans as his co-signer. And as you know, I read these in depth with you, not when I choose them. That's why I'm just as surprised as you are. Okay, here we go. My ex did not have credit and was not a US citizen. Okay, I'm just going to stop right there. Okay. Problem number 1. All right. When he was accepted into pharmacy school. So I signed as his co-signer on Sally Mae loans while we were married. Upon graduation, he decided he no longer wanted to be a pharmacist and has remained unemployed for the last 2 years. Beverage. I say what I'm doing for the people who are listening only, okay, and they can't see my actions. We were able to defer the first year payments under forbearance, with me thinking he would find alternative employment to begin making payments. When he didn't, when he didn't, after those 12 months, I began making the interest only payments as the cosigner through the graduated repayment program. The program ends in June, and my ex has not pursued employment despite my efforts to press him to find a job. I am now a single working mom with no child support from my ex, and I'm still obligated to pay the loans, or I risk falling into delinquency or default since I do not make a pharmacist's salary to afford the interest plus principal payments, which will be more than $2,000 a month starting July. Again, this is 4 years ago. So she's deep into this right now in 2025. The divorce did not free me as the cosigner, and Sally is telling me that we do not qualify for any more deferment or payment reductions. All right. Um, let's see here. I would certainly appreciate recommendations. My ability to cover expenses for my son will suffer, and I will fall into bankruptcy. Um, I would think there is something out there that protects cosigners. No, there isn't. She says she thinks there's something that protects cosigners from following such undue hardship. No, you being stupid and signing off on a $200,000 loan for someone. Um, yeah, I understand that he was your husband, but the fact that he's not even a US citizen, he can just go back to the country he came from and leave you holding the bag. Guys, sometimes, yeah, she says she hasn't found anything that would keep her from falling into undue hardship. Lady, US American citizen, you are. Okay. Should have been better prepared. I'm not. Look, you guys, and I understand, I had my $110,000 student loan forgiven in 2022 through my own stupid actions too. So if I'm sounding critical, I'm not, it's not her personally, it's the situation that I'm looking at. Okay. Um, it's very naive to think that you're going to sign off on a $200,000 student loan for anybody and that you're not going to be held liable for the loan if the marriage falls apart. And it sounds like he also just became a lazy bum because he's remained unemployed for 2 years. And then the fact that you were able to defer the first year payments, you could not pay this bill without his job. That we have people who are pharmacists and are struggling to pay their bill, and they've got the pharmacy job. This was signing. I sometimes wonder how many people co-sign student loans simply because they don't want the relationship to end. Like, in other words, they're afraid that if I don't co-sign the student loan, that it puts my marriage at risk. Well, so well be it. If I'm in a relationship with someone and they say to me, Carrie, you need to sign a $200,000 student loan. And I say, no, I'm really sorry. I'm not comfortable even as your spouse. Well, then you call this marriage done. Bye. Bye-bye. You see? The loan is as good as yours, lady. What's her name? Marley Bees. I don't know if that's her real name, but Marley Bees, the loan is as good as yours. And it is very naive. And I'm going to say naive to think that if you can't pay, you think the federal government has somehow or another has a way for you to not be financially harmed by your student loans. Again, this being 4 years ago, there's been a lot of news about student loan debts and all the problems that people are having. Remember the pandemic and stuff and all the stops and pauses and that stuff that they were doing with student loans. So this writer should not be naive to the fact that people are having trouble paying on their bill. But to say, what is it? The payment is more than $2,000 a month. That's more than my cost of living per month. Now, of course, I have an inexpensive cost of living, but $2,000 a month just for the pharmacy degree. If somebody had said to her, okay, wifey, you go ahead and sign on the loan. If your relationship breaks up, do you have $2,000 a month you can pay towards the loan? See, that's how you got to look at it, folks. Oh, well, I can't afford the loan. I'm not a pharmacist. Then you shouldn't be signing off on the bill. And here's the kicker. For those of you who think that just because it's court ordered, this person pays this or this person pays that, if you are both on the loan as co-signer, borrower, co-signer, whatever, your names are both on the loan, the person that you owe the money to, the bank, the car company, the credit card, the student loan people, they're going to go after both of you, regardless of what the divorce decree says. You will need to pay the bill, and then you will need to go sue the person that benefited from you paying the bill. That's the way it works. It's not, well, my ex-husband's a lazy bum and I can't afford his pharmacy degree. So what? I'm not trying to sound cruel. I'm just trying to sound tough enough and authoritative enough that any of you considering that you're going to go sign off on a college degree that you can't pay, you really shouldn't do it. Sally Mae is telling me I don't qualify for deferments or payment reduction programs. Those of you who think you can just keep deferring the bill over and over, no, you cannot. This is where wage garnishment starts to come in. And don't forget, with private and federal student loans, okay? Federal student loans, they do not need to go to court to wage garnish you. You can just wake up one day and your bank account is garnished. And if you share that bank account with anyone, whether they are part of the garnishment or not, they don't care whose money it is. Don't ever share bank accounts with someone who is under the threat of wage garnishment, bankruptcy orders, whatever. Doesn't matter if you're married or not. Okay. Sally Mae, federal government ain't going to go to the bank account and go, oh, okay, there's $5,000 in here. Now, $4,000 of that belongs to the other person. And the 1,000, that's our client that's behind. So we only want to take out 1,000. No, they're going to be licking their chops, okay, like dogs around a fresh steak, okay, and they're going to take the whole dang thing. And then you'll be writing in on Ramsey ready going, I just don't understand. I mean, I'm with a bum husband. He hasn't worked a job in 2 years. He has a pharmacy degree. I was dumb enough to sign off on it. And now they cleared out our bank account.